Life is precious, and we all have the opportunity of living it to the fullest. Unfortunately, so few of us know how to manage it all. How do we account for our opportunities? How do we account for our time? How do we account for our relationships, health, spirituality, homes, finances, influence, and careers? How do we account for the one life we have to live? I am so glad you asked. In this program, you will find answers to all of these questions and more. Welcome to the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore.
What's happening? Everybody? I want to welcome you back to another episode of the Account for Your Life podcast. Jay Moore here, the healthy accountant, helping you to account for your life. And so today, here's what we're talking about. We're talking about what happens if you never find your gift. Guys, we've been talking about superpowers and gifts, and we've been talking about purpose and whys. And all of that stemmed from our good friend E.T. Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, who recently wrote a book, You Owe You. And so if you have not purchased that book, you should go get it. It's a really good read. It's a good listen as well. I've got it on Audible. I have the physical copy. And he reads the book on Audible. And that's the beauty, because when the author reads, you get a little bit more than when someone else reads it. So he reads the book. It's a really good book to read and to listen to. And so I was initially inspired to really go through the whole book with you. But after I got to about the third chapter, I said, you know what? I'm going to let you guys, I'm not going to spoil the book. I'm going to let you guys get out there, read the book. I think you can feel the premise, You Owe You, just from the title. So go get it, check it out. And so today we've been pretty much tracking the topic of gifts for the past few episodes. And so today, this episode could be somewhat of a gloom. Well, we're not going to paint the picture too bad, but we're going to paint the picture because I think everybody has to understand how important it is, or how important your gift is. Not just to yourself, because gifts are not for us, but to the world. And so let's jump right into this. And so I recently saw something that really, I think it elevates what gifts are all about. And I saw someone posted a short video online. It might have been on Instagram, and I saw this video. It was a seed. They showed the seed get planted into dirt. And, so they had like the seed, and you can see underneath, the dirt. And so you saw the seed, because they had time elapsed and all that good stuff. So you saw when the seed, got a little water, because look, at the end of the day, you got to get some water. You got to get something to help to cultivate the gift. Like yesterday on the last episode when we talked about, when I shared with you my experience of how I started developing a gift. And here's the thing. It becomes nature. It becomes intuition. It becomes a sixth sense, if you will. And that story that I shared about the basketball game, I'm a freshman in high school. I'm playing with upperclassmen. The upperclassman is on varsity. He's I'm not sure if he was the starter, but he was on varsity, and I'm on his team as a freshman. Right now, I'm 6'3", but I wasn't 6'3" back then. I was only like 5'4", maybe. I think I was about 5'5", because that was in the second half of the school year. So I may have been about 5'5". Think about this. I'm about 5'5". I'm on a team with upperclassmen, people that are way better than me, technically. And I took the last shot of that game and made it. And we won our playoff game. And it was because of an intuition that I felt. I felt like this was natural. See, guys, your gifts may not be the one thing. My gift wasn't basketball. No. I'm not telling you. See, my gift was not to play basketball. Even though I played basketball in college, and I played in pro-am summer leagues and stuff like that. But my gift wasn't basketball, because like LeBron James and people like that. Yeah, they had the physical gift. Shaquille O'Neal had a physical gift that he could use. Think about this. He had a physical gift. Now he started to cultivate. See, if Shaquille O'Neal didn't get any water, then he would not have been Mr. Diesel. He would not have been the first Superman. Like, Dwight Howard tried to be Superman, but he was not. He was not Big Diesel Superman. But he still had to develop. And had he not developed, things may not have gone exactly the way that they went for him. And so when I saw this seed, it reminded me of all of us. And it reminded me of pretty much what's happening in the world. You've got all these seeds walking around. I want you to think about this today. Think about a baby. You could be a new parent. Maybe you've got kids. I've got kids. Oh man, it's so beautiful to see your children grow up. Like, I can only imagine how my parents feel. Like, my mom and dad, they see me and they're like, man, I can't believe, like, my dad was here in August and we spent a week together, and he was just like, part of him can't believe that he produced me. Part of him is like, yo, that's wild. But here's the thing. Had they not put a little water, had they not cultivated me in an environment that literally is what I needed to build myself to this point, even though I made many mistakes. See, guys, we all make many mistakes. We all, like, there's a portion of most people's lives when they say, man, I wish I can have that back. Man, I wish, if I could just get that back. I remember me and my brother was talking a few years ago about, just about a time period in our life. And we were talking about money and, money that we spent. And we're like, man, we wish I told him, I said, man, I counted it, man, and it hurt. Like all the money wasted, just hanging out, the bars and just doing stuff. I'm like, man, if I would have been stewarding my gifts at that moment, like part of my gift was having some money in my hand. Part of my gift was to use money to help the people and to take my life to a new level. But here's the thing. Hey, good morning, PB. Here's the thing. A lot of times we get these little gifts and we discount them. Write that down. We get little gifts and we discount them. What do I mean by that? I had gifts of money, wherein, see, money never starts big. We always think we're going to win the lottery. No, that's not when you want to hit it. Because if you hit the lottery and you actually have not cultivated the little bit, what most people that win the lottery in a few years, it's all gone. Maybe they opted, you know what, I'm going to opt to get it all up front. Or sometimes they opt. Now, they would be smart if they just opt to just take it over time, because at least they know they would have that money coming in. But when they opt to get it all up front, then they got to pay all them taxes right now. And then they get the money. And I'm telling you, in a few years, they're broke again. See, no gift, not one gift comes fully packaged and ready to go. Nope. Because look, the principle of growth always has to come in. Write that down too. The principle of growth. Here's the principle of growth. You come in as a baby. You don't come in as a full-grown man or woman. You come in as a baby, which means that the principle of growth is activated as soon as you come into the world. Really, before you come into the world. Because remember, we were talking about the seed. That seed that I saw depicted the life of every person on this planet. Where a seed comes, a seed is planted, and all the seed needs is just a little bit. A seed does not need a lot of water. You put some water on that seed, you put it in some sun, it got some oxygen. That seed, all of a sudden, over in a specific amount of time. Now, most plants, most trees, there's a specific amount of time needed for that tree, for that plant to come up. But what about humans? See, the only thing we can see that's specific is the physical part of it. The physical growth of a human being is what we know. Well, we know we're going to go through infancy, we're going to go through childhood, we're going to go through adolescence, adolescence, preteens, and then we're going to go through adulthood. Do you know most people in adulthood are still living the life of a child? You should really consider this today. Most people in adulthood are living the life of a child. They have not been fully grown because what happened was, even though their physical attributes grew, even though my physical attributes grew at 40 years old, I was not physically, well, I was not fully grown. Wherein I thought I didn't need any more school. Up until 40, I mean, even though so I'm a CPA by trade. So I did have to get, continuing ed and stuff like that. And I didn't always do it at the right times and stuff. But here's the thing, that's the only education I was getting. But I didn't get any education on marriage. I didn't get any education on parenting. I didn't get any education on money. I didn't get any education on business. I wasn't getting any education on a lot of the stuff that I needed to know about. And here it was. Here it was. At 40 years old, I was like, man, look at where I'm at. I'm still, I'm still in my 20s. And I was not happy. And I'm gonna tell you, I didn't pray. I wasn't the praying, even at 40, I wasn't the praying type. I didn't pray for anything. Now, I did hope for something. I did have a faith for something. I said, man, there has to be a better way. And the better way, a lot of times we think the better way is like right now, if you were looking at life, we would look at the better way. Hey, if I don't like this job, let me get a new job. That's the better way. Hey, man, if I don't like this marriage, let me get a new marriage. That's the better way. Hey, my kids are acting crazy. Maybe I should just disown the kids, whatever. I mean, some people might do it. Maybe I don't like this church. Let me go to a new church. Like everyone, we always think that the grass is green on the other side. We're not actually looking at, man, have I fully grown myself? Have I gotten myself to the point where I'm exactly who I'm supposed to be based on who created me at the very beginning? Because he said, I know the plans that I have for you to prosper you, to give you a future. And if God already planned to give me a future, am I living in the future? Am I living in the thoughts? Am I living in the plans that he set out for me? See, that was the idea that I had to think about at 40 years old. See, I turned 51 in about 21 days. 51. And it took me 10 years. It took me, well, it'd be 11 years. So I'm still growing. I'm still growing. We're going to get to this topic of what happens if you never find your gift, because that's like a simple part of the whole conversation here. But we had to first understand, okay, gifts have to be cultivated. And if a gift, even when the gift is put into an environment, it does not mean the gift is going to come up. It comes up partially. So it's nothing like something that comes out deformed. And a lot of times we, like us humans, we're deformed. Right now, there are many people walking around with gifts and talents and skills and stuff that they have within them that they won't do anything about, because the external parts of the world has sold them something. And it sold them a lie. Like, we're living in one of the greatest times technologically, and most of us are still earning a living in the past. I want you to think about what's happening today, and I want you to think about how you earn a living. So that's one area. If you're earning a living based on a 20-year ago idea, or based on a 30-year ago idea, or based on a 40-year ago idea, when someone said go to school and just do that thing, back then, if you did go to school and if you did get a degree, that did set you apart. Today, it doesn't. Today, what it does is it actually takes up a lot of your time, when you should be specific about what it is you need to know, and then get exactly the training so that you can go do that thing. Now, some things require you to go to school, like if you're going to be a doctor, you got to go to school. But if you be a naturopathic person, you can just study in a different way. They have different education for that. Like if you want to be a lawyer, you got to go to school for that. But you don't have to go to school to be an accountant. You don't have to go to school to be a business owner. You don't have to go to school to do a lot of things today, because you can get the education on YouTube. You can get the education anywhere. You can get education from a mentor. You can get the education from coaches. You can get the education from courses. You can go to events and get the education and come back and implement. So if we're going to answer this question, what happens if you never find your gift? Here's what happens. You got billions of people on this planet right now who literally are looking to the government for handouts. Billions. You've got, even just in this country, 100 million, maybe 200 million people, maybe, looking to the government for help. And the government says, we'll help you. Oh, we'll definitely take care of you. We'll put a lot of restrictions on you. We'll do a lot of things that'll basically feel like, it'll at first feel like they're trying to help. But then when you look back, you say, man, did that really help me? There's so many things I could that I can add here that I'm not going to add it because at the end of the day, you got to go and search out for yourself. You got to figure out where you are in the gifting process. Am I using my gifts fully? Have I discovered my gifts fully? Do I know exactly who I was created to be? Am I now doing the things that gift represents? If you can't answer those questions, you should think about them and you should answer them. Because right now we're living in a good time, a technological time where many people can be even more successful, but yet many people are looking to the government. Many people are looking for a handout. Many people are hoping, wishing, and praying and not actually doing anything. Many people are just allowing, oh, it's inflation. The gas prices are so high. No, get out. Let's get out here and create something. And you can create something and literally not worry or not think about how much gas costs, how much food costs. Because I can guarantee you, it's going up. Everything's going up. And right now, with interest rates doubled in the past few months, the interest rate's going to double again probably in the next 12 months. That means that people won't be able to buy as many houses. People won't buy a house. That means maybe people won't buy cars because the interest rates will be higher. And that means that the income that you were earning won't help you to buy the car that you probably, I really want to buy that. A lot of people buy BMWs and cars are not inexpensive. I want to buy the Acura. The Acura is $50,000. Oh, I can't buy the $50,000 car. That car note is going to be $1,200 a month. Oh, I guess I got to buy a Yugo. I don't think they make those anymore. But at any rate, we'll find ourselves in an environment where people are no longer independently thinking and they are looking for someone else to make the decision for them. That's where we are in life. And if we're going to change, we've got to change from within right now, discover our gift, move on to a place where we know exactly who we were created to be so that we can now use our gifts. Because when we use our gifts, other people then can be helped and transformed and things can happen in our small little worlds. So I hope you got value from this program today. If you didn't watch the whole thing, go back and watch it all. Check it out. But look, what happens when people never find their gifts? You become dependent on the government. You actually become worried about gas prices. You become worried about food prices. You become worried about a lot of things. And usually that actually pushes people into an early grave because now you got high blood pressure, you got high cholesterol, you got all the things that contribute to people dying early. And then, then the thing called mental health shows up, which a lot of things can be solved. When we discover our true gifts, all of those things are solved. So let's come with me on this journey. Come with me on this journey because this podcast is the premier place where people can at least get a jolt. You can at least get a jolt of knowledge and presence and information and inspiration so that you can move today in your unique gift and so you can become the person, do the things, and have the stuff you really want to have. So guys, I thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Account for Life podcast. I'm Jay Moore, your healthy accountant, helping you to account for your life. God bless. I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.
Thanks for joining us, listening friends. We are so glad you invested this time with us. Always remember, you only have one life to live, so live it to the fullest. This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.